Hey everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today you guys are tuning in the middle of a 50 PED hunting run. So I started this video, I started talking, I didn't like what I was saying, I didn't like where it was going, I wasn't saying anything bad, I was just rambling on, and I'm like, Serial, stop the video, redo it, let's get yourself together and get some good sort of streaming, flowing commentary here, because what I'm talking about is sort of, it's important. This is something that really matters in life and in Entropia too. We're talking about deeds, but more importantly, we're talking about how to earn passive income. Not how to earn passive income, but what passive income is, how to take advantage of it, and sort of how that relates to Entropia Universe, because that's essentially what deeds are. But passive income is a huge idea that can actually benefit you so much in real life. So passive income is basically when you can make money without doing anything, but putting your money to work, right? So your money works for you. This is a term that a lot of people have heard, but this is something that this is why most people like that are rich don't go broke, okay? This is why people can sit there and not work and still make $2 million a year. They've got money and they're making their money work for them. So if you look at it, there's a few different ways you can go about it, right? You can buy bonds. You're going to be getting maybe like 2% to 3% returns, depending on what you're buying and everything like that. But you're going to get 2 to 3% back, okay? You can buy stock. You're going to be getting like 8% back on average. I think that's where it sits. If you invested in this most recent like bull run that's still going on in the market, you've probably made a lot more than that. But you're making about 8% year over year, okay? And if you buy real estate, it really depends on the area. It depends what you got. But that's essentially, it's an investment. It's something that you do with your money that means that your money is going to make you more money without you having to put in any time. Now, real estate is like a semi-passive investment, in my opinion, depending on how you do it, right? Like, you can have a property manager, and that's someone who's going to take care of everything. They take a percent of the rent. You get the rest. That's 100% passive, pretty much. Or you can manage it yourself, where it's somewhat passive, but it's passive in a way that, like, most of it is your money making money, right? With real estate, obviously, there's things you've got to do. If you've got a house, you've got to update it, make sure the shingles are fixed up. There's a few little things like that, but for the most part, it's your money making money. Actively making money is when you sit down and do work, right? Like, if you're a contractor and you do 1 hour of work and you get paid $50 an hour, that is actively making money. You're doing something and you're getting paid for it. Passively, that means that when you sleep, when you're on the toilet, when you're playing Entropia Universe, when you're doing anything in life, your money is making you money. And that's a powerful concept, because then when you combine that with sort of compounding interest and stuff like that, you know, you can take $10,000 and in 50 years, you've got $1 million. That's crazy, right? If you've got kids, that's actually an awesome thing to do for them. Like, literally, if you have kids, set aside like $10,000 for them. Literally $10,000. That's all you need to do. Put it into a mutual fund, put it into stocks, put it into some investment that you feel safe in, and let it sit there. If literally you do nothing else for your kid, that money is going to grow, and you can give it to them when they're 30, when they're 40, when they're 50, and it's going to be a lot of money. It's probably going to be, it could be millions of dollars. Or, you know, it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars at the very least. And they're going to appreciate that, because that's, at whatever stage of life they're at, that's going to give them a huge step up. Anyways, that's passive income. And that's sort of the power of deeds in Entropia Universe. And deeds would be these things that pay out weekly, daily, whatever, right? These are deeds. Wow, I've got a lot. I've got to combine all those PDs into my card. But these are deeds. You've got Arcadia Moon deeds. You've got Arcadia Underground deeds. And you've got Calypso land deeds, okay? So Calypso land deeds would be for the planet Calypso. Any money that's spent on Calypso, any money that Mindart gets, they split that with the deed holders, and the deed holders get that as a return. If you click onto the deeds, you can go to view information. You go here, and you can see total yearly revenue, okay? And this is actually a cool number. That was a pretty good loot, 15 PEDs. This is actually a number that really does matter, right? You can see the total yearly revenue that Calypso, I'm not sure if this is just Calypso land deeds or if this is Calypso as a whole, but the total yearly revenue that they're getting is 9,780,000 PEDs, or at least that's their, let's see, what does it say? Yearly revenue generated by the Calypso planet that is shared among Calypso land deed holders. This value is calculated as an average based on weekly revenue payments made in the last 3 months. Okay. So based on the payments, this is actually really cool. Based on the payments, Mindark in the next year is projecting that they're going to get roughly 10 million PEDs that go to deed holders. I don't know how many of those deeds Mindark holds, but I think Mindark still owns something like, I think they still might own a percentage of Calypso, or they hold deeds to represent that. I'm not sure which, but basically this shows you that Calypso makes about $1 million a year. Okay, maybe 2 million, somewhere in there. It's a couple $1 million a year. Okay, weekly, this deed stack, right? So the 20 deeds I've got are projected to make me 62 PEDs, and that's a return of 16.3%. Cool, right? The awesome thing is here you can go and compare this information. Ooh, they don't provide it for Arcadia Underground deeds. Interesting. I thought they provided it for all the deeds, but I just checked the Calypso land deeds. Ooh, that's interesting. So Arcadia is hiding the numbers, but Mindark is not. Or Mindark, I guess. Calypso isn't. I think Mindark owns. I don't know how that works, but it's very interesting to see, actually. Anyways, what I'm saying is passive income is what you're making through the deeds, and a 16% return, which you're probably making roughly the same on Arcadia Underground deeds. Arcadia Moon deeds aren't really, I don't know what's going on with those. Those don't really make you much money at all right now. We'll get into that later because the Moon's still speculative. There's not a lot of people using it, so it's not making as much money. But basically, anytime a player spends money in the Arcadia Underground, on Calypso, on the Arcadia Moon, you get a small portion of it, right? So yeah, that's what deeds are, and they're basically generating passive income because here you deposit your money into Entropia Universe, you take that money, you use it to buy deeds, and then those deeds passively make you money. Now, a lot of people, I've seen people saying this, and this is sort of the root of why I want to get into this and talk about this in a video. They say, oh, it's going to take me, 7 years to make all my money back on the deeds. Now, that's wrong. We're going to get into that. And then they'll say something like, oh, it's such a good investment. If you could do this right now, like if I had $1 million, I'd put it all into this and buy deeds. Again, it's 100% wrong. Now, I'm going to go into why. First off, the deeds are making you money. You're getting a dividend from them. You're not losing any value for the deed. So when you say it's going to take you 7 years to make all that money, that's 7 years to double your money. Or whatever it is, right? And actually it's smaller than that because, like, if you compound it, it is smaller. But it takes you X number of years to make that money back is what you're saying, but that's actually 16% is an insane return. Like, I own stocks that pay out dividends, and I'm happy when I get a stock that pays me 5%. When I get a stock that pays me 7% dividends, I'm loving life. I'm happy with that. That's an awesome return. So when you see 16%, that's huge. Oh wow, we got 34 PDs of shrapnel. I'm going to convert it and keep going because I started this 50 PD run a little bit late, and I want to keep talking about this. So that's huge, right? That is huge. A 16% return is massive. It is spectacular. You should see that and just be in love with it. If this was a stock and it was solid, like if it was Microsoft giving out 16%, I would be selling. I would sell my house right now to get that. I would be selling my car. I'd be selling everything because 16% is an insane return on your money. You can get it through companies. You can get it through stocks, but a lot of the time it's a risky investment. And when you see a dividend that high, that usually represents the risk that you got to take. With Calypso, a lot of it is the marketplace isn't what is considered. It's not an analytical marketplace exactly. It's a marketplace based more on emotions, how people feel about Calypso land deeds versus what they're actually paying out. So on Wall Street, a 16% dividend usually doesn't exist because traders operate based on arithmetic, based on numbers. They look at it, they think about it, and they say, hey, 16%, that's worth the risk. There's no traders in Entropia, okay? There aren't. There's no one in Entropia that's a multi-billionaire going after sort of the market, trying to conquer it. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe Never Die like knows Bill Gates and he built through him $1 billion, but there's no billionaires really playing around in Entropia because as you can see from that number of for Calypso, $1 million, right? Like if you are a multi-millionaire and you want to make $1 million deposit, you could significantly impact the game. significantly. So that should sort of give you an idea sort of for sort of where we're at, okay? And obviously, like, that million does just represent sort of PEDs that Mindark makes, but it's a percentage of what's deposited. Like, a lot of the money does stay with the players, but a lot of it gets recycled and slowly sort of eked out of the player base and it goes to Mindark, and they cover servers and everything like that. It's completely fair. But I'm sort of going back on my point here, but the dividend does represent that, and Entropia Universe is a little bit more emotional. So a lot of players don't want to do it because they're looking at it from the point of, if I want to play with 100 PEDs now, how long is it going to take me for this deed to actually give me the 100 PEDs back? And when they see that answer in years, they're thinking, yeah, but I want to do it now. And you can't do that with deeds. You need to be patient. Are they worth it over the long haul? Probably, but it does take patience, and a lot of people don't have that, so emotionally they just don't want to put the money in, and that's why you see this return. Also, I don't know what this number is based on. I was just thinking about this. I'm assuming that the 16% is based on the projected ROI of 16%. I am assuming that that is based on the current market value of deeds, which puts them at around 2,075 PEDs for daily, 2,053 weekly, monthly, 2,000. Like that's sort of what I'm assuming. If they're doing it for the price that deeds started out, there'd be 1,000 PEDs. I bought my deeds at 1,000 PEDs. Okay, and this is leading right into the second point. Now, again, with deeds, you make your money back. You get all your money back. You know, if you're just running the basic projections, that's going to happen in about like 7 years or something like that, right? It's 16%. It's not 7 years if you're compounding the interest, but we're just going to use that math. Like, let's say 6 years, okay? Like, because it's doing a little bit better right now by these numbers that I'm getting from the deed than the S&P 500 or something like that. So it's going to take you 6 years to get your money back. The deed, though, it does still maintain value. If these dividends keep paying out, foreseeably people are going to keep paying the same price for it. If these dividends increase, people are actually going to pay more for it. So, like, deed prices are probably going to go up. And there is a good chance, I think, that deeds keep going up slowly, little by little. So this is an investment that's going to actually return money to you. When you go to sell these deeds, you won't be selling them and making all your money back. You're going to be selling them and making all your money plus something back, most likely. Or minus, but you're going to likely get something back, unless Entropia Universe just dies. And if it dies, those deeds are worth 0. So that's the other thing. If Entropia Universe dies, I think Mindark is obligated to pay out the PED, the TT, the trade terminal value of everything. So for this gun, which is worth 18 PEDs, Mindark would pay me $1.80. There's some markup on it, but Mindark's not going to pay that. They're just going to pay me the TT value. And now you ask, what is the TT value of deeds? It is 0. So if Entropia Universe fails, those deeds are worth exactly nothing. There's no money sitting in a bank account waiting for you so that you can say, well, at least I get my trade terminal value, because there is no trade terminal value. That was done, I believe that was done deliberately, right? Like a stock. When it goes bankrupt, you lose it. You lose everything usually. Maybe you can sue with shareholders, but you're going to get pennies on the dollar. When Mindark set that value at 0, that represents that if this game fails, if that planet fails, you get nothing. Okay, but now you guys are sitting here and you're like, Serial, look, you're telling me like you're going to make your money back so much faster. Why would people not be jumping on this? Why would no one be jumping on this? Why would no one be in love with this idea? Well, it's because there's a deposit fee, I believe, and there's a withdrawal fee. Now, I've never done a deposit or a withdrawal, so I'm not 100% certain on this, but I know there's fees behind it. It takes a while to get your money out when you withdraw, so this isn't a liquid place, right? Like, I can't put... It's not like the stock market. I can't put in $1,000 into Entropia Universe, buy some deeds, in a month sell those deeds, and then get my money back ASAP. If I sell those deeds, it might take me like a couple days to sell them, and then it's going to take me 6 months probably to withdraw that money. That's a long period of time. That isn't exactly liquid. It's a lot more illiquid than most assets in life. If I'm going to sell a house in a major city, I could probably do it in 6 months. I've done it in under 6 months, right? Like, six months is a long amount of time. So if you got to wait for your investment to come out, that's a long amount of time to wait. So that's one reason why a lot of people with money aren't going to put money into deeds. Another reason is because there's a withdrawal fee, right? So I think it's like 10%. I don't know what it is exactly, but there is a withdrawal fee for Entropia Universe. And that takes a chunk out of your profits as well. When you compute all that together, it means that it's probably not worth the risk for a lot of these guys to invest in. Plus, if you have a lot of money and you want to invest, when you go to buy up all these deeds, when you start buying them off the auction, the value of the deeds is going to actually go up, right? That's just how markets work, supply and demand. If you dump a ton of PEDs and a ton of demand in, it's going to negatively or positively affect the price. In your case, it's going to be a negative change because you want the price to go down, and it's going to go up because there's less supply. People are going to see that there's only 2 Calypso land deeds on auction, and they're going to think, I want to get one of these because there might be no more after this. And that's one of the reasons you don't see a lot of money in it. Now, if Entropia was a $20 billion game, let's say it was bringing in $1 billion a year, right? Then you'd see a ton of people getting in there because there'd be the volume there, right? Like there would be the volume there, but it just isn't, and that's how it works. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that this sort of gave you guys an idea for what I'm talking about. It's a hard concept to explain, but I wanted to explain it because it's important, right? It's something that you've got to understand because it's not only going to help you in Entropia Universe understanding where the deed value comes from, why they're actually a pretty decent investment if you're going to have your PEDs sitting in Entropia Universe. Like, if your money has to sit somewhere, it's better to have it sitting in deeds than it is to have it sitting in armor or guns or anything. Because the deeds are actually increasing, they're paying out value, and they're maintaining their own value. Whereas with armor, if it's limited armor, it's going to be decaying and slowly losing value if you're using it. And if you're not using it, likely the price isn't going to go up. If it is a weapon or item like that, it's highly speculative. MindArk is always introducing new stuff. I think I've covered it in another video. It's called Power Creep. That has happened in Entropia Universe, and that's definitely sort of knocked down the value of a lot of the older stuff. So you've got to keep that in mind too. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Hopefully you guys sort of understand where I'm coming from and you get what I'm saying. And like, let's just real quick to sum this up. Let's take a look at the deed value. You can see there's four pages of estates and deeds on auction. And if you look at Calypso land deeds, where are we sitting? You've got like 1. There's 5 Calypso land deeds on auction right now, selling for about 10,000 PEDs. Is that right? Yeah, that's about right. There's like 5 deeds on there. So even if you had $1 million and you're looking to buy Calypso land deeds, you'd need to be paying a lot of money to get it because obviously at the current price, there's not that many people interested in selling. So that's sort of, the volume isn't there. So like in a way, the money isn't there because the volume isn't there. But I don't know. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. Hopefully this sort of enlightens some of you. And I know some of you guys are younger too. So like this is a huge lesson to learn. If you can learn about passive income and how to harness it, it's going to show you why saving money now is going to reward you so much more in the future. It's a very cool concept. I definitely recommend it. And yeah, so let's total that loot up. It looks like we're looking at 37 PEDs of loot plus another 2. So let's say roughly we got like 40 PEDs of loot. We spent 50 on ammo, so we already took a 10 PED loss. Actually, it's like a 950 PED loss or 925, something like that. Let's throw the armor in here. Is this the gun I was using? Man, it's decayed a lot. It's decayed a lot there. Yeah, it is. All right. So there you have it. That is the decay that we've had on our nice little hunt there. So it's a little bit of decay, honestly. A little bit more than I thought. I'm a little surprised by this, but it is what it is. Yeah, I guess I did recycle. Yeah, all right. I was like, why would it be so much? It's because I recycled ammunition too. I probably went through like 100 PDs of ammo there. So that makes sense. There's more amp burn. So yeah, loss wise, I guess we're looking at what, like something like a, what is it, 30 to 40 PED loss. So that's a pretty significant loss. And the global I got in the last video, the profit I got in that last video is slowly being eaten up. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this video did a lot to explain to you how deeds work, how passive income works, and everything like that. If you have any questions or anything like that, I'm not an accountant. I'm not some guy who knows much about this stuff, but I try to explain what I know, and if you ask comments down below, I'll try my best to help you guys out. A like, a sub, all that stuff helps the channel. You guys know that, though, so until next time, have a good one. Peace.